How much more could you achieve with confidence? Colin Hiles here, aka the Mindset Guy, with today's video, which is all on the subject of confidence. And I get an awful lot of emails on this one subject. It seems like just about everybody could do with a little bit more confidence. And I want to start by saying that as I stand here talking to you, I, like anyone else, have insecurities. I have days when I doubt myself. I have days when, struggle to get through. So I'm no different to anybody else, and I have those confident issues. What I have found is, though, if there's a bedrock of confidence, and the great thing about it is it gets you through those times. And that's true for anyone. So if we define confidence as maybe it's a feeling of trust in our own ability or our own capability and in our judgment. And with confidence, we can achieve so much more, because what's at the other end of confidence? Well, worry, doubt, fear, anxiety. And they're not going to produce peak performance. They're not going to help us in our personal, professional, or sporting lives. So let's start with a simple model here, mind, body. And it's mind, body, not mind and body, because the two are absolutely linked. And this is called a cybernetic loop, meaning that one is affecting the other all the time. The way that we're using our physical body is affecting our mind, and the way that we're using our mind is affecting our physical body. And this interplay is constant. It never stops. Now, most of the time, when talking about confidence, we'll talk about the mindset shift that needs to happen. Maybe we need to visualize, or we need to set some specific goals, or we need to make sure that we have some good affirmations, or hypnosis, or NLP, or NPA, or EFT. There's loads of different techniques that I've talked about on my blog and also on my YouTube channel that can address confidence. And they work. And I'm going to share with you another approach here, which I think is actually even quicker, can be even quicker than using any of the mindset side of the equation. Because ultimately, what we want to do is we want to feel in control. As soon as we feel in control, the moment we feel in control is the moment we can have a can-do attitude. And it's very possible that we can spiral ourselves up into feeling more confident. So this is at the other end of the spectrum, because these two here are what's creating the feeling that we're experiencing. The way we're using our mind and body creates an emotion, and that's what we feel. And confidence is a felt thing. So if we want to move ourselves from lack of confidence to, high confidence, we need to shift these two here. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the body. Now, in the last two videos, I talked about our 4 core powers. Our 4 core powers. And that is thinking and feeling, speaking and behaving. And why are they our core powers? Because they're totally within our control. It's something that we can do. We can change our thinking, we can change our feeling, we can change the words we're using, and we can change our behavior. So in this video, I want to talk about how, by using our behavior, we can behave our way into feeling more confident fast, right? So we're going to come at it from the body. And we're going to use a technique I call PMA, except it doesn't stand for positive mental attitude. It stands for, the P stands for physical, the M stands for measurable, and the A stands for achievable. PMA. Physical, measurable, achievable. We're going to use these in which to act ourselves into feeling more confident. But maybe let's give you a couple of examples first. So let's start with, let's call this individual Jim, just to protect her. Jim had a belief that he was, financially incapable. He couldn't take care of his finances for his life. And that seemed to be true. His financial affairs were in a complete mess. He had no idea of what was coming in and what was going out. He often went into his overdraft and was penalized as a result, and so on and so forth. So what did we do? Well, rather than actually working on the belief system that he had, what we did was we went and we worked around physical, measurable, achievable. We did something physical that was measurable and what he believed was achievable. So what did we do? Simple little daily steps. So the first thing that we did, he had just to give you an idea, he had a whole year of receipts that were just in a bag, all completely messed up. So one of the things was each day for a short period of time, take those receipts out, put them in month, January, February, March. So that was one of the exercises, one of the little actions. Second action was he had an envelope with him. So as soon as he purchased something, he took the receipt, put it in the envelope that stayed in whatever month that was in, made it easy. He also, as another action, it was to find an accountant that can help him. Another action was to leave his credit cards at home and give himself a cash sort of the cash that he was going to spend, a cash budget over that week. Now these small, almost seamlessly, like insignificant, but they all began to add up to him feeling like he was getting more in control because he's taking daily action, which is physical, it was measurable, he could see what was going on, and also he believed it was achievable. And it wasn't long before he had turned that belief around and had his finances absolutely in control. I'll give you another example. So we'll call this lady Mary. Mary was widowed, and she hadn't worked for 25 years, and she was in that stage where she was thinking, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? A lot of her friends were saying, get a job, get a job, get a job, but that scared the living daylights out of her. She hadn't worked for 25 years. So we just talked through a few things, and one of the things that she was quite keen on was volunteering. So great, volunteering, right? That is something physical. You're going to go and do something physical. So what we did was we set up a simple little plan, and that was first and foremost, find out all the charities that are in her local town. Secondly, go and speak with them either on the phone or walk into the shop and find out how do they raise money? How do they get money? That led her to an individual who was a regional manager who she struck up a great relationship with, and she began to raise money, and she found out she was bloody good at it. She was very, very persuasive, and to the point that she began to raise quite a lot of money and became quite well known as someone to go to if you want to find out how to raise money. Now, what was really interesting about all of this, when we spoke, much further on down the track, she said, that lack of confidence that I had to initially is completely gone, and it's gone, and I can't believe where this has ended up. Let's take another individual who could not, we'll call this individual Dan, I keep using Dan, I don't know why, but Dan could not get himself to exercise at all. And he had a belief, a mindset which was, I never commit when I set myself exercises, getting to the gym or anything. So I asked him what's his routine. He would get up in the morning, go straight into the kitchen, turn the kettle on, make himself a cup of tea. That was the first thing he did. So what we did was we figured out that if you put enough water in the kettle for 1 cup, the kettle would boil in 1 minute 12 seconds. So the challenge was, how many push-ups could you do in 1 minute 12 seconds just whilst the kettle's boiling in your kitchen whilst it was at? Well, the first time he did it, he could only manage 16 press-ups. That was it. He was completely knackered at the end of 16 press-ups. So that was his stake in the ground, right? By the end of I think it was week 2, he was up to 30, and by the end of the month, I think it was 52, he could do 52 press-ups in the 1 minute 12 seconds. Now, you think, well, what's that going to do? But what happened was he began to change his belief about his ability to commit to exercise. And as he saw measurable progress, he thought, yeah, maybe there's other things that I could do here. So he grew in strength, both physically, but also mentally. And that's why this is such a fast technique. There's another reason, and that is the importance of completeness, that what we set, we complete. And when we complete what we set, we grow in confidence. We feel good about ourselves. We start to develop a different belief system. It's almost like, well, if I could do that, what else could I do? Like down with the push-ups. If I can do that, just whilst the kettle's boiling, what else could I do? What else is possible? And he found that he began to change his diet and all sorts of things as a result. And it started with push-ups on the kitchen floor whilst the kettle was boiling to make a cup of tea. All right? Easily achievable, measurable, and physical. So the power of completeness, Often we don't complete things. We set a goal or we say we're going to do something, we don't do it. That erodes our confidence. It erodes the belief that we have in ourselves. Whereas if we set little goals, like the 3 examples that I've given you, very simple, specific actions that can be taken, best would be daily, but sometimes that's not possible depending on, then it's amazing what can happen. It's incredible what can happen. Now, in terms of the actions, I have a simple rule, which is that it's got to be no more than 7 days from one action to the next action. If it's more than 7 days, it's too long. Every day is really, really good, but you've got to be careful, and there's a fine balance between, setting something and then the bullshit belief comes in, I can't do this, and it no longer becomes achievable. It's got to feel achievable. It's got to feel like I can do this. And when you think of all of the things physical, all right, that you could do. So if I give you, some examples for me. So losing weight, right, or more important, losing fat for me on the love handles that we typically get. And I set a goal to get down to 15% body fat. That's measurable. I believed it was achievable, and it was physical, right? I had to do some physical exercise and watch my diet. I got to 15. Now my goal is to get to 12. My wife Tor, who would define herself definitely as not a runner, okay? She's never been a runner, she's never run, but she decided that she wanted to start running. Well, the very first run that she did, which was round our block here, it's less than 3K, she couldn't even manage, she couldn't run it all, okay? Recently, she did a 16-kilometer fun run for charity. See, she went from not being able to do 3 to doing 3, from 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 16. Do you think that's affected her a belief about what's possible for her to do? Of course. And you may have experienced that yourself. So when you think of all the things we've got, you can walk, all right? Maybe you could walk faster. So you could time yourself from a specific point to another point, timing, and then see if you can do it faster, see if you can do it faster, see if you can do it faster. You could do going upstairs. You could see if you could get faster and faster going upstairs. Of course, you could walk further than you've ever walked. You can run faster than you've ever run, or set a goal. Or you could run longer than you've ever run. Or you can cycle further than you've ever cycled. And you could cycle faster than you've ever faster. So whatever works for you. Maybe you could go into the gym, or you do go into the gym. You can set a goal to bench press or deadlift a certain weight. See if you can get yourself to the next level. Skipping, right? You can learn to skip, or trampolining, or skating, or ice skating. I mean, the list is pretty endless as to what are the things that you could do. Dancing would be another one. Maybe you could learn a certain dance step, which is measurable again. Not being able to do it to being able to do it. So dancing will be another great example. So there's a whole list here of physical things. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about something that you consider to be difficult for you to do, right? You have a current mindset, which is, I'm not very good at this, or this is difficult to do, this difficult, the cult of Diffie, right? You've got to be careful of the cult of Diffie, right? But find out, make a list, all right? Make a list. And then when you've made a list, ring one that you're going to then see if you can improve over a 7-day or a 14-day or a 21-day or a month. So I put this 7 days up here, right? 7 days. And then come down to the specific actions that you could take every day, every other day, whatever it is for what it is that you're doing, that you can measure and you can see some improvement. You've got to be able to measure it. If you can't measure it, it isn't anywhere more powerful. It's the measuring, like, down with the push-ups. He could see that he was improving. He was getting stronger, he was getting fitter just with push-ups. So it's got to be measurable, really, really important. So make that list, decide on one. Why don't you tell me what is the one thing that you're going to do? If you're on my YouTube channel, you can write it below. If you're on my blog, you can write it below. Just think, what's the one thing? Like for me this year, come summer, I want to learn to swim correctly. So I'm going to set myself some goals around swimming. And it's about how many strokes that you take for the length of the pool that we've got. And I'm going to see if I can get those down and down and down so that I'm becoming more efficient and more effective in the water. So that's one of the goals that I've got once we just start jumping in the pool, which is just about now. So that's one of my goals, okay? One of my goals. So tell us, what is it that you're going to do? what is it that you're going to do that is going to help you improve your confidence? Now, last thing I've put up here, see this snowball? That's meant to be a snowball, I know. Pathetic, but that's a snowball, and it's called the snowball effect. Because our brains generalize, the moment we can do something in a specific area, it begins to generalize into other areas. And that's what we want. Because then you start thinking, well, if I could do this, maybe I could do that. And if I could do that, maybe I could do that. And all the time we're growing in confidence. So there we go. Fastest way to get a boost in confidence is to do something physical, something that's measurable, and something you believe is achievable, and just get going. So thank you once again for listening. Please leave me a comment or let me know what you thought. 1, not very good, 10, really good. If you're on my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that button, then you get the updates of all my videos. Pretty much bring one of these out every single week. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.
Hold on, now did you enjoy that video? Well, if you did, I would like to show you how you can train your mind to perform how you want it to, so that you can break through to the next level with my advanced mind power training. It's totally free, and you can get it by going to www.advancedmindpowertraining.com or clicking on the link below this video. I'll see you on the next video.